Hi, Achim here, InnerSpace Explorers. Today it's a bit of a longer one and on purpose an unedited video. If you remember, I recently made a video about the Go rebreather with a BOV, and in case you haven't seen it, I'll put a link here. And I explained that I'm running my BOV through the connector which normally feeds diluent to the ADV, and that hose is a classical inflator hose like this one. And then in the comments a lot of people were like, this is super dangerous and you can't do this and this is not sufficient amount of gas and so on. So to be fair with you, I mean, first of all, I never had an issue. So I'm doing stuff like that for quite a while, and I've been using it, and I never had the feeling like, oh, this is insufficient gas supply. Nevertheless, I never measured it, and a lot of people were like, yeah, you need to do this. If you do this, this needs to be a QC6 connector. In case you haven't seen a QC6 connector, that's this thing is from Swatchlock, and that's the male coupling, and that's the female coupling. So you put this in here, press, and then that is a gas tight connection. And you've seen that because a lot of people use these on rebreathers to connect, plug in different gases. So this hose is actually from my KISS Classic, where I use it to plug in stage tanks. And a lot of people recommended, like, yeah, that's what you have to do on the BOV, on the Go as well. So today we make the real test. So we'll figure out what the difference between these two connectors is, and if this is sufficient gas supply. So the way I'm doing this is I have these two 6 cubic feet argon tanks, and both of them are exactly filled to the same amount, and I will demonstrate that so afterwards, because if that gives the results I'm expecting to give, people will be like, yeah, this is all made up. This one was filled with 50 bars of helium and the other one was 200 bars of air, and you faked all of this. So this is why this will be unedited video, and I will show you every single step of it. This is a normal screwable regulator Mark 25. In fact, it's my single regulator, so there's an inflator hose on it and there's another inflator hose, which actually that's not an inflator hose, it's another LP hose which has the Swatchlock coupling on it. And what we're gonna do is, this is the male coupling with an open end, so I'll put it in here, and this is an inflator nipple which I'll put in the inflator hose, and then we'll measure the time it takes to drain these little tanks. So to give you a little bit of an idea, 1 cubic feet is, I have to look that up, 28.3 liters of volume, which means a 6 cubic feet tank is roughly 170 liters of volume at 200 bars. So I will drain these tanks, so simply open it up and measure the time it takes to drain the tank, and then we can calculate that. So just to give you an idea, if that takes a minute to drain that tank, that means that the flow rate or the gas that can be delivered through this setup would be 170 liters per minute, and that would obviously not change with that because we talk about a compensated first stage, which means the intermediate pressure stays the same. All right, I just realized we don't have a stopwatch. Camera woman, do you have your cell phone? So while filming me, please bring out your cell phone and give it to me so I can have a stopwatch here and I can start basically. Thank you very much. I can basically, yeah, the dog's complaining as well. Yeah. So now I need to find the watch on my wife's phone. That's gonna be interesting. So prepare for a longer video. Okay, so that's the edited part of the video. So now we have a stopwatch ready. And what we're gonna do now is because I filled one of these before I started this, so we make sure these have exactly the same amount of gas to avoid any discussions afterwards. Ooh, this is 140, so I would say this one's either leaky or I hot filled it. So 140, and this one is 160. So now it's 140 as well. See that? All right. So you saw that we have 140 bars on. So I killed the stopwatch again. So we have 140 bars of both of these tanks, and you can also see that it's the same valves. So in case, because we'll have to be prepared for all kind of comments. Somebody will be like, this is different valves, they have different flow rates. No, they don't. So just to be double safety. Okay, you see the difference on these SPGs, right? So this one shows 160 bars. So I close that again, as you see. And actually now I put that inflator nipple in here. And obviously there was pressure on it, that's why you heard the noise. So to not get too loud for the neighbors, I'll put this in this towel, and just to get the sound a little bit under control. So we get our stopwatch set up again. This is actually family business. I probably should use a third person. So how do we do this? Actually, one of my sons, fortunately I have another of these. Ben, could you just quickly all right, so come to the other side. So when I turn this, you press start on the stopwatch, okay? So just you see, no, just leave it. I can actually see this going down quite fast on the SPG. You just wait till the hissing sound stops. Alright, so that was 32.7 seconds. Alright, so sorry, as I said, unedited video. So that's the empty one, put that away, and this one so we said this was 160 on that SPG, right? Okay, that's 150. Well, we can compensate that by calculating it. Otherwise, I need to go to the compressor now and put 10 bars on this thing, which is probably just a pain in the ass. So this was, let me write that down, that was 160 bars. And that was the inflator. And this is 150 bars. So I closed that again. And so same thing. Then when I start turning this, you press the button, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was 19 seconds. All right, so that was the important part that we wanted to have unedited, so there's no voodoo magic going on that afterwards could make the test somehow manipulated. So we'll make a quick stop here, and I will actually calculate that and give you a couple of results, and then we'll discuss 7 hours later some hardcore math. So I mean, you can do the math yourself. I just want to explain a little bit, especially for those of you who are probably not that much into this diving physics blah 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 stuff. So the thought behind is we need to figure out how much gas was in that tank. So on the first test with the inflator hose, we had 160 bars, as you saw on the video. The tank has a volume of 0.9 liters. And I'm not going to run you through that, but you can Google it. 1 cubic feet of gas, as I said before, is 28 point something liters. 6 cubic feet is 170. So if you break it down to the volume, you actually end up with 0.9 liters. So anyway, just so you can check that yourself. So 160 bars times 0.9 liters gives us 144 liters of gas on that first test. So if you would divide that by 1 for 1 minute, that would make a flow rate of 144 liters per minute. We had 32 seconds, so that equals 0.545 minutes. Which means 144 liters divided by 0.545 gives a flow rate of 264 point something liters per minute of gas. So when we did the calculation with the switch lock connector, we had 150 bars in a 0.9 liter tank, which gives us 135 liters of minute. So 150 times 0.9, and it took us 19 seconds to drain the tank, which equals to 0.32 minutes. So 135 liters divided by 0.32 gives us a flow rate of 421 liters per minute. So basically almost double the flow rate than the inflator hose. So that was obviously no surprise. I mean, when you check the diameters of these, then it's pretty clear that there's a different flow rate, right? And I mean, the inflator hose has this shredder valve in it, which you probably know from your bicycle. So if you ever looked into an inflator hose, you realize there's a shredder valve in it. And so that this doesn't deliver the same amount of gas than the switch lock, that's crystal clear, and that was not the question. The question was, is the inflator hose connection giving a sufficient amount of gas? And yes, it does. 264 liters per minute is what we calculated and what we tested together. And now if you think about it, if you calculate your RMV with 20 liters per minute on the surface, you go into stress 40 liters, you go into super duper stress 80 liters, whatever. You will not overbreathe something to a point where 264 liters per minute is not sufficient. That's not going to happen. And This is not sharing with the body. This is my BOV, right? So in case somebody's like, yeah, but if there's 2 divers breathing from it, that would still be 130 liters per minute for each diver, which should be still by far enough, but it's not. So it's one person, and the worst case scenario, you will not overbreathe, or you will not breathe to with a rate that exceeds 260 liters per minute. That's simply not possible. So I just wanted to clarify that, and honestly I was pretty curious myself, because I never did that test, because it always worked for me and I never really gave a thought about it. And of course wanted to show that I really care about the comments, and if we would have realized that the flow rate is, I don't know, 40 liters per minute, I would have switched to something else. But now we all know that this is a safe way of doing it, and the reason I'm not switching to the Sweat Lock is because I want to have the flexibility to just plug in an inflator hose on that rebreather, and that's all fine also when using it with a BOV and using it for open circuit breathing. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any comments, questions, whatever, put it in the comment section. Looking forward to answer these. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.